are systematically searching all residents and seizing all arms. This is the result of the disarmament operation so far in Bangui.
We have weapons, machetes, the famous African knife here. Then we have small caliber infantry weapons. We have old ones and some that are more recent. Then we have RPG launchers here. And we've got other weapons that are of a slightly larger diameter. The people are behind us for now. That's a good thing.
French troops began disarming militia groups in the morning. African soldiers with the MISCA force are participating in the operation autonomously. For now, troops have faced little resistance from the ex-rebels. Many of them have returned to their barracks, following orders given on Sunday by Transitional President Michel Djotodia.
Everyone back to the barracks. We're going to let the MISCA, the police, the gendarmerie, and the French troops patrol in Bangui.
President Michel Djotodia has announced that the transitional period will be reduced and constitutional order will be reinstated earlier. The transitional period was originally scheduled to end in 2015, but now it will end in 2014.
Tributes to the late Nelson Mandela have been pouring in, and dignitaries arriving in South Africa ahead of the memorial ceremony for the former president. Up to 100 world leaders are expected to attend the memorial at the Soweto Stadium with a seating capacity of 80,000. Mandela's remains are expected to be buried in his home village on Sunday. We have more in this report.
Day of official tribute to Nelson Mandela. From Soweto to Cape Town, worshippers of all confessions sang and prayed for Madiba. Monday morning, the South African Parliament paid tribute to the man whose values and struggle have been praised throughout the world.
As a global figure, Nelson Mandela's vision transcended the physical borders of our country. It was Mandela himself who taught us that, and I quote, "No one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin, or his background, or his religion."
Thousands of flowers lined the ground in front of Mandela's home in Johannesburg. People were honoring the memory of the hero of the anti-apartheid movement in very personal ways.
Because I'm a musician, that's the only way for me to say thank you, because we all know what he stood for as a person.
Today, all eyes were on the stadium in Soweto. It will host some 80,000 people on Tuesday, notably 100 world leaders for a grandiose tribute. The location is symbolic. Mandela made his last public appearance here during the final match of World Cup football in 2010. Around the stadium, police are preparing. Security has been beefed up, but the police director does not appear worried by the magnitude of the event.
The purpose of today is to make sure that the officers understand exactly what is expected of them. We don't see it as a big challenge because 90% of the people that are on parade today worked with me with a World Cup final at exactly the same venue.
The army has also been stationed at Kunu. The village where Nelson Mandela was born is located in the Eastern Cape Province. He will be buried there on Sunday in the presence of numerous foreign dignitaries.
It is going to be a busy week for Nelson Mandela's remains, looking at some various aspects of his life and legacy. His body, one may say, might be as busy this week as he was alive. He famously had to retire after serving one term as president of South Africa and became an international icon for reconciliation, peace and democracy. CNN's Robin Connor has more.
Retirement, Mandela style. He left public office but still tried to change the world. His personal assistant, Zelda Lachansi, who had been at his side ever since the early days of his presidency, says their schedule was relentless.
We went probably about 12, 14 trips a year in those years after his retirement. So it was hard. It was traveling, you know, all the time.
Mostly he was raising money for causes close to his heart, children and HIV/AIDS. But there were always strings attached, says Grts.
If you feel obliged to do certain things, you'll do it. But then you have to assume there's nothing like a free lunch. He would raise money from people and people would expect favors in return. If a company builds a school, they would like him to come and visit the company. So, I mean, everything, it was like a snowball effect, you know, the pressure just got too much, and that's when we said, stop.
So in 2004, Mandela retired from retirement.
Don't call me. I'll call you.
These are some of his grandchildren, and they say their grandfather lived a simple life.
If you come into the house, you'll see him in his chair, legs up, newspaper in his hand. Always. Or watching news.
I really love you.
But Mandela still liked the limelight.
The thing of Madiba is that he always enjoys being connected to people. So if he had to stay at home and never see people, it would be the worst thing you could do to him.
Even though he withdrew from public life, the public had trouble letting him go.
But what truly matters are the small acts of kindness.
His 90s defined by ill health and frequent hospitalizations. And in his final months as the public held a vigil outside his Pretoria hospital, he remained resilient, fighting until the end. Robin Kerno, CNN, Pretoria, South Africa.
We now take our second break. Welcome back. It's now time for the weather report from the Central Forecaster Office.
The source assures us of a continuous flow, and from there, everything follows. And for those of us who know what the River Gambia stands for, understanding its sustainability in all aspects of life is easily confirmed. The River Gambia provides nutritious delicacies as food, while it provides its wildlife a balanced ecosystem. This river, as a sanctuary, is committed to its inhabitants' needs without season. And as you travel along, all these values are replicated in one company, Elton. Just like the River Gambia, leads in its commitment to values that matter most. Elton, championing the vision for a new generation.
Good evening and welcome to the weather segment, beginning with a summary of the weather during the day today, followed by our forecast. The Gambia this afternoon was generally warm and sunny. And for what will follow, let's start with a look at the satellite image captured at 16:30 hours, indicating generally stable and dry conditions over the northern part of the continent. The southern areas were characterized by convective and medium cloud development, and this will persist until the next 24 hours over most of the areas. Over the Gambia tonight, conditions are expected to be partly cloudy and mild. Tomorrow will begin with also a partly cloudy atmosphere. It will be relatively cool and misty, but becoming warm and sunny later in the day, particularly over the inland areas. Winds will continue to be northeastern orientation, but generally light to moderate in speed. And morning temperature values will be 20 degrees Celsius over the Greater Banjul areas and the North Bank region. We are expecting 21 degrees Celsius over the West Coast region. The rest of the Gambia will be either 17 or 18 degrees Celsius tomorrow morning. Top temperatures will be 32 degrees Celsius over the Greater Banjul area.